I took a thought. This was a judgment on me, that my kingdom, well worthy the best heir of the world, should not be gladdened by me. Then follows that I weighed the danger which my realm stood in, by this my issues fail. And that gave to me many a groaning throe. Thus, hulling in the wild sea of my conscience, I did steer toward this remedy, whereupon we are now present here together. That's to say, I meant to rectify my conscience. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim. I use he, him pronouns, and today we are continuing our short campaign of RvR, Robot Hamlet versus Robot Richard III, a hack of Lady Blackbird by John Harper. Let us go around and introduce everybody and who is going on. I'm going to be just running the thing and hoping the wheels don't come off. But let us start with our Robot Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, Dee. Hello.
Hello all, you know me. I'm Brat Zagoroth Thesmophoria, as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat, or at Deirdre on Twitter. I use she, her pronouns, but today I'm playing Hamlet, who uses he, him pronouns, and the Prince of Denmark, who is not insane currently.
No, not at all. Not at all, not even a little bit. And now let us move on to Hawkeye. Hello.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Kentucky Hawkeye, KY Hawkeye on most media, and I use he, him. I will also be doing he, him for my character, Sir John Falstaff, who is wondering if he maybe needs to change his brand of ale because he's seeing things that really shouldn't be there.
You never know. Indeed. And as folks may be suddenly noticing in the chat, I have a new bot, and I'm still trying to work out the kinks, so my apologies if it stomps on you a little bit. We'll figure it out. I have no idea what's going on. Technology, who knew? But let us proceed on to Anino. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Anino, use he, him, and I am playing Robot Mercutio.
Excellent. And we shall move on then to Kat.
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Court. I am a she, her, and I will be playing Kate. Sweet Kate, Bonnie Kate, Kate the Shrew. Also, she, her.
Awesome. And finally, we go to Sam. Hello.
Hi. Sorry for apparently spamming your your chat.
I need to instruct it in the definition of spam. My apologies.
I think the night bot, if you do multiple characters to me of the same character in a row, it considers that to be spam.
Yeah, it sent me a message. It's like, hey, don't put too many. And I'm like, oh, you're gonna have a real tough time with me, but that's okay. I'll be constantly kicked out of your chat. No worries. I'm Sam. She, her pronouns. I will be playing the great Shakespearean character of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
Who uses he, him pronouns.
Yes, the Star Wars saga was one of Shakespeare's greatest accomplishments in the eyes of future historians, so they wanted to make sure it was included when they built Bard World out in the asteroid field, hundreds of thousands of years from now, and then the human race sort of went away, but the androids were still there, the bots were still there, So they had to break their programming and figure out who they were and what they were doing and what life meant and all manner of things like that. These are sort of Westworld type robots, or those modern Cylons, if you will. So they are almost human, but there are still questions of programming and things of that nature in this massive theme park that is supposed to contain everything that Shakespeare ever wrote, possibly, and then some. There's more stuff up there. But before we dive into this session, let me just see here real quick. Okay. Before we dive into this session, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. So if we hit something that's crossing a line for you, any of the players can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that you're okay having in the game, but you don't want a graphic description of it, type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. And finally, if you're in the midst of intense role-playing and you think we might be worried you're really upset out of character, you can put an O in the chat to let us know you're okay and that we're good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we say or do something, then think maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone can respond to that and let us know that we're still doing okay. And with that, let us get into it. I am now making sure I have these things here. There we go. Okay, good. All right. Just making sure I can see all of the different things at once. You can never have enough monitors. I'm discovering that. So, let us see. As I recall, as we were setting this thing up, you had made it to the to Tudor Station. This is after an encounter on the Ghost Asteroid with, when you finally got back in touch with Hamlet's father and found out that apparently that's where the that prototype model of one of the Henrys, he wasn't sure which one, apparently went to try to resurrect Tudor Station and do things with it. But it was one of the Tudors. He was sure of that. Having made it to Tudor Station, they now see that everyone in here, in at least in the docking ring area, appears to be a copy in some way of Henry VIII. So that probably narrows down as to who the prototype is. On the way, they also a couple of our robotic heroes, Hamlet and Falstaff, experienced these brief moments, these moments when they could see and interact with someone from their characters' histories, but who have never actually appeared in any of the plays. And so no robots were ever built of those particular characters, at least in those models. So it is a strange thing. Falstaff discovered this after running a diagnostic and managed to fix his code and set it aside. But before Hamlet's code could be repaired, they made it to Tudor Station, and then suddenly were jousted at, apparently, by a lance ship. It was a rather strange thing, just sort of suddenly coming upon them, and then this ship with a big pointy nose comes right at you. They destroyed it, and then Mercutio managed to talk the other ships down, as saying it was a misunderstanding, and thus they got an escort to the station, and getting down off the ramp, as you all are doing, you're seeing that. Yeah, there are folks. They're kind of working here on the the docking ring. They're trying to, it looks like they're doing the business of trying to get the station operating again. But a lot of them are wearing different uniforms, sort of like a lot of tech uniforms and pilot uniforms, and some of them are dressed in Elizabethan outfits. But out here in the docking ring, there are like many tables, weighed down with food and drink. And they're sitting there. They're talking. They're toasting. As they're doing their work, they're fighting to a certain extent. Some of them. It's just a very sort of strange and raucous thing with a bunch of Henry VIII's. So I put it to you. What are you doing?
Well, Kate, I think we're going to need more bombs.
And wine.
Can't we just take theirs?
After, but I'm going to need a lot of wine just to get off this ship.
So, well met, you hear one of them, one of the Henry VIII's dressed as a pilot,
Kate's drinking.
comes over. Ah! He says, is it not Hamlet, Prince of Denmark?
Indeed.
I'll go get the grenades.
For player knowledge, is this Henry VIII, student prince, Henry VIII, defender of the realm, Henry VIII, after 6 wives?
This one looks younger.
Okay.
I mean, he's got the beard, but it's not very thick.
So, after Anne Boleyn, but before Jane?
I don't know that the designers of Bard World were going to be able to be quite that accurate. So that's a fair guess. So yeah, thereabouts maybe. Thereabouts.
So maybe about 3/8 Henry VIII?
Yes, there we go. Precisely. Somewhere around there, yeah. It's. I'm trying to remember when he had, because in my mind, I put this demarcation where he had his jousting accident, and I can't remember how far along he was at that point. I think he was only on wife 1 at that time, if I remember right. But maybe he was already up to Anne Boleyn. I'm not sure.
No, it's actually later because, sorry, Brad. Isn't it later? Because I think that's one of the reasons why he's late to wife number 3's bedside when she gives birth to...
Yes.
That could be. Yeah, that could be it. I know he got...
Edward.
There was like a jousting accident, and then there was like a hunting accident, I think.
I could be mixing up the two.
I don't remember clearly. I saw the Tudors, and that's all I remember. The entirety of my knowledge of Henry VIII comes from that. So yeah, no, he basically, but he
So
looks,
younger Henry.
he's on in the younger half of the whole thing, so possibly early wives era. And I will also state that there is another robot of Henry VIII in Bard World that some of you have perhaps met or at least heard of, but none of these are necessarily it. But I mean, if you have, then this looks and sounds very much like him.
Yes. Henry?
No, that it was determined. Our prime determined that would be a touch confusing. So we've got our own names. And whilst our creator is loading the fantasy name generator to pull up the Shakespearean name list, we shall let you know that our name is incredibly strange. I'm Nestor.
Nestor.
Yes.
Oh, named after one of the Greeks, I believe.
Yes, I believe so. At least, they were quite good at such things.
Yes, well, you of course know... Well, no, you don't. This is my compatriots, Falstaff, Master Kenobi, Mercutio! And Hamlet just kind of walks up, puts his arms around and just goes, "Here, you deal with this."
Ah, yes. And he reaches forward to clasp hands with you.
Fantabulous. This is quite the orgy you've organized here, Nestor.
Ah, quite, and we've as we understand that you're quite a connoisseur of such things.
Oh, I am indeed that legendary.
And so modest as well. Come, let us eat. And Sir John Falstaff as well.
Aye. You have quite the spread laid out here, good sir.
Indeed, it is. It seemed as though this area of the docking ring was rather drab and lacking of revelry, and so we've felt it would be a good idea to make it happen.
Well, it'd be a shame just to let such a good spread go to waste.
Indeed, indeed, good sir. Come, feast, and we shall talk.
Well, he doesn't have to tell me twice. I find a spot to sit down and start gorging away.
Yes, it's sort of funny. Yeah, basically, this is sort of what one would think of as sort of opulent Tudor era food, but so it's all manner of turkey and puddings and other sort of giant salads and like entire there's like a swan ice sculpture in the middle of the main table. It's just ridiculously ostentatious, and this is just the docking ring.
Yeah, they asked me what I would like a spoonful of, and I say yes.
Excellent. So they are currently plying you with all manner of everything. What are the rest of you doing?
So Mercutio is going to give both Hamlet and Kate one of those friendly pat on the butt and say, "Now is the moment that we shall carouse.
Enjoy your
Go
carousing.
forth and
And Kate's going to turn around and give him a not quite so friendly slap on the face and say, "Do it again, and I'll take the hand."
Just the hand."
Just the
Didn't say
hand.
which one.
She's also got 2 pouches hanging off of the girdle or the belt of her outfit that look like they are just overstuffed with apples, and they're actually stuffed with grenades. The blaster's in the pocket, and the bottle of wine is in the hand, and she's ready.
Excellent. Very cool, very cool.
It's Thanksgiving at the in-laws. How lovely.
This is good. One needs to come to these things armed to the teeth.
Hamlet's wearing both of his swords and just kind of like, yep. And a blaster that he's got like side holstered to his leg. This is gonna go well.
Great.
So Mercutio is seemingly unarmed, because, quite frankly, fighting would just get in the way of carousing.
Exactly.
My weapon is at my side, but currently both of my hands are full of various accoutrements of food and beverage. Imagine the Cookie Monster dressed up in Tudor form.
Awesome.
I think Obi-Wan is just like in a corner. He doesn't trust any of this. And he hates what he knows everybody's about to do, but he's just gonna like turn a blind eye to it because he knows his.
We didn't say we were going to kill them yet.
You've said so much. You've said pretty much as much in every interaction.
Well, they are kings of England, and I am the heir to Denmark. It's just politics.
These things, they happen.
Yes. You practice diplomacy your way, and I hold up a turkey leg. I'll practice diplomacy my way.
Yes.
So Nestor comes back after just sort of going on talking and says, very good. Our His Majesty should be in not too terribly long. But tell us, if you would, what brings you to our station?
We were invited and directed to attend.
Oh, indeed. Know someone here, do you?
And he just kind of looks around the room, looks at himself, raises an eyebrow and goes, "Well, I am still the Prince of Denmark. I'm very aware of who, well, all of the kings of England are."
Oh, indeed. Forgive me, as I did not mean to offend. Simply that we are but recently reactivated.
Oh,
No, here, the station, rather, is recently reactivated. We are recently, well, come to life, as it were. Ha ha!
oh, and how did this happen?
I cannot say that I understand the process. But one evensong I found myself awake flying amongst the stars, and told that it was my purpose. And so it is what I am doing now.
Your purpose is to throw massive raiders.
Well, I think, methinks that's everyone's purpose to an extent, but primarily I am on the security detail for the station. Apparently they had these things when they created it. So the roles must be filled, if we are to get anywhere.
Well, this looks like a fantastic time. Why would you possibly need a security detail?
Well, one must always keep an eye on one's potential enemies, as they can arise at the sometimes the least provocation.
It's just sad of poor lads who can't control their drink.
Suddenly you have to deal with you have to deal with someone who cheats when he wrestles you, and then quite suddenly he wants your head.
Indeed. So, how large is your security detail?
Okay, now I feel as though you're trying to wheedle important strategic information out of Nestor. So I feel as though a roll is going to be in order here. So I think we're gonna go. This will be difficulty 3, I think. As he's not necessarily as oafish as he looks, or indeed sounds.
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
Imagine that.
Okay, so I'm going to guess that good times is.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Let's go with debauchery.
Okay. So you're one for being here, one for debauchery, and what do you want to use?
We'll use one for witty, one for persuasive, one for fast friends. So Mercutio's going to grab a drink for both himself and Nestor for the specific purpose of using Iron Stomach.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're also
Yeah. So
trying to race him in drinking.
Yeah. So that's is that 5, 6?
So that's 6.
6. Okay, I think that's it.
All right. We'll see what you got. Ooh, okay.
Ooh. Nice start.
So I think that you do incredibly well in this little impromptu drinking contest. The moment he seems to, you detect that the moment he seems to sniff it out as being a possible contest, he's like there. He's like immediately there for it. You make it so you think you also intuit that you can make it so that it looks like you're drinking more than you're drinking. First of all, second of all, you make it look like a really close contest that he ultimately just barely wins, because that you think is the best way to get at him, and it turns out it is, because he's laughing and he claps you on the shoulders. Ha ha! Excellent, excellent. And I shall show you around myself should you desire. But indeed, we are of as our security force goes, we are at 2 score at present, and but increasing should we require it. As our As His Majesty decides.
As His Majesty?
Quite.
Oh, is His Majesty present? Or is he holding an even more fun court deeper into the station?
He gives you a kind of a wry smile. Would you like to see?
Oh, I dare say that this must be interesting. Come along, Falstaff.
What is this?
We're going past the velvet ropes.
Oh.
Kate would love to watch Henrys increase themselves. No, she's not drunk enough. Never mind.
Hamlet just suddenly grabs 2 glasses and then hands one to Kate and then hands one to Obi-Wan. This is going to be so entertaining. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Lead the way, good sir.
So Mercutio is going to follow, swaying as if he was, moving along to the music, but more just pretending like he's having more fun than he really is.
I'll follow along with a tankard in one hand, a turkey leg in the other, and trying to carry something else along with the turkey leg as well. So I make sure I have plenty of foodstuffs as we head there.
It's like me at parties, really. Pretending to have more fun than he's having. So yes. So you kind of pass further, deeper into the station. He takes you from the docking ring. He holds up his palm to one of the door to an interior door, and then we'll take you inside. And so the interior of the station, you pass by what look like there are a number of sort of offices, and looks like on the next level down are probably the work area. The labs, things like that. Probably in the next level down, you see signage for that. And so the walls are very sort of gray, they're sort of black and gray. But although some of them have now been painted with murals depicting Henry VIII. Is just sort of in various poses. And as you get further inside, you reach the sort of the kind of more middle area, sort of a common area, that it looks like banners have been hung up. This you think was probably like a cafeteria or some such thing. Some of you have probably, most of you have probably at one time or another been in the work areas, those areas of the park that were for the humans, and the under areas, and this is not unlike that. Only it's on a larger scale than any of you have seen before. This is. Hamlet, this is actually kind of on the order of the one in the Denmark asteroid down below. It's actually this might even be a little bit bigger, since it's like a whole station dedicated to it. Sort of as you sort of step forth, you see there's a throne that has been erected. And as you step in, you see standing in front of the throne, there's actually a table laid out with some kind of like a map that's been that's laying on it, and it's kind of funny because there's a physical map. There are a couple of physical maps, and then there's a holographic map like above it, sort of rotating. And the person standing there is glowing slightly with this sort of golden light. Not so bright as to not be able to make him out. You can make him out. It's Henry VIII again. But this one is Henry VIII, kind of in his prime. It looks like. It's probably again early half of his reign. Well. No, the thing that makes the most sense. Is this is the Henry VIII who is on wife number 3.
Oh God, he's taking the whole head of the church thing seriously.
So he's
giving it the full pope-a-dope, huh?
So he's a little bit older than Nestor. And you see there are a number of like folks, courtiers here. Again, all of them are Henry VIII. There's more feasting and banquets and things of that nature, sort of banqueting going on here. It is actually, it's like you can hear that there's more revelry going on in a bunch of the side rooms. Various things. But this is something that's sort of been set up kind of like the throne room. And so you have like food, and then like exercise equipment a little bit has been brought up here. There's like a rack with a bunch of swords on it. And so just a lot of stuff for someone who likes to be distracted, basically. And Nestor leads you forward. Is everyone still following, or is anyone sneaking off or doing other things, or what's going on?
Mercutio is still following in lockstep.
Hamlet's kind of backed up, so he's kind of standing next to Kenobi and just kind of goes, "Is that some of that force shit?" Because he's glowing.
Not that I know of. I think he has some type of virus. I don't think it's the Force.
Well, that's one choice. It wouldn't surprise me. Look what Henry gets up to.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Falstaff is going to try to work his way somewhere around the edges and try to disappear, so to speak, and try to investigate around. See if there's any more food production going on in any of these side rooms, but also to see if he can figure out what's going on as far as why our royal host has such a ominous glow about him.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know how to do this. So to poke around and find this out specifically, I think is going to be a difficulty of 4.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll go under robotics with this, since it's going to have to look at some sort of thing. So 1 for myself, robotics. We'll probably go under programming, diagnosis, to figure out what is actually being used. I'm not fixing anything, so it wouldn't fall under repairs. I'm not really going to be modifying anything or deactivating it. So I'll do that, and I'll throw in a couple from my pool.
Okay, so that'll be 6.
Can Hamlet help by being a distraction?
I was going to ask Kate. Kate could be a distraction as well.
Sure.
Um.
You want to each give him a pool die?
Yeah.
Yep. And Hamlet's gonna walk up, kind of clap Mercutio on the shoulder. Cousin Henry! You invited us! We arrive!
Lord Hamlet, he says. And he stands and he steps forward to embrace you.
7 total?
So I think it's 8 total if you're getting
8,
one from
okay.
each. Yeah.
Getting one from each, okay.
And he'll kind of like, oh, no. Okay, fine. Have you met my wonderful companion, Kate?
Close. Right.
Kate at that point has turned around and slapped one of the youngest of the Henrys, the one who has decided that he wants to trade one Catherine for another.
Ah, yes. Easy to find that here.
Yes, and it's not so much a slap as a right hook.
So that one kind of just almost sort of goes down for a moment, and a couple of the others are like, she's got you there. and he's sort of like he's trying to get back up, and he's like, what? And he's like, nah,
And
careful
again,
with the hands, lad. Careful with the hands. And yeah, so,
I got 3 on Kate.
come again?
Hamlet turns to the Prime and says, I got 3 on Kate.
Ah, yes, I'd probably wager that way as well.
Now, Hamlet, you know it's not right to bet on these types of things.
That's true, it is a sucker's bet.
Fair enough, yes.
I have 3 Kate will knock him out in the 3rd round.
I have much to thank you for, he said. The Henry Prime turns to you and says, as 'twas your, where's your elf? He says, looking around.
My elf had other responsibilities.
Ah, unfortunate. I wish to thank him as well. He was the one that released me, from what I understand.
It's positive. Sorry you were imprisoned? Didn't know you needed help.
'Twas a strange thing. 'Twas a strange thing. I was put away for seems over a millennium. But it's back to business now. I will say, Falstaff, as you are sneaking around, you are able to get into some of the areas that are sort of off to the side. You haven't found the way down into the manufacturing area, but because the primary reason is because you found the room where they replicate the food, and the wine.
Distractions.
Yes, and it seems that they have a means to make this stuff, kind of in the fashion of, say, like a Star Trek replicator. It's actually like which is not. Let's say such technology does exist in Bard World, but it is few and far between. So it is kind of sort of major that they've got it. They have the ability to print food and
so
alcohol.
This is an exception rather than the rule for the rest of Bard World.
Yes, for the most part, yes. It's one of those things that you hear stories about, that it's, that such things are around. But otherwise you have to actually cook food in order to make it happen. Or actually, crush grapes, that kind of thing.
And I probably get distracted trying to figure out how the technology works so I can figure out how to do the same thing in my quarters.
The replicator is pretty big, and the chef, who is also Henry VIII, is sort of wanders back and forth and is not in this room right now a lot, so you have time to go and investigate it. But yeah, this is like amazing resource level stuff as far as at least the creation of edible goods is concerned. But it does give you at least a little bit of insight into kind of the level of stuff that's available at this station, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But
So,
back
one-
in the main hall. Sorry, was there something else you wanted to?
No, I was just thinking out loud.
Okay. Back in the main hall. So you have these various Henrys VIII who are sort of crowding around, and Henry Prime will we'll sort of look at the map. He says, "So I take it that there's a bit of conflict going on."
Is he talking about me and these Henrys, or?
He is
Okay.
not.
No.
He's looking at the map of Bard World that is currently hovering above the table.
When isn't there?
Fair. I had hoped we had grown beyond that.
You have a whole bunch of Deplanets, a Sith Lord, and my good uncle Claudius. Not to mention the Romans, the Corleones, and
Oh, they made it. That's unfortunate. Yes. Now it begins to make sense.
I mean, if you have questions concerning the political breakdown and the historical understanding, I would definitely recommend speaking with Master Kenobi. He is much more learned on such matters than I am.
Oh, indeed. That's right. That is correct. Master Kenobi, it is. We are also too honored to have you here.
As you should be.
Well, so very
I'm
few
sure
Jedi.
be honored by the.
It would seem very few Jedi remain in the in the asteroid belt.
Yes. I think Lord Vader is probably part of that.
Ah, the blackguard. Never liked him.
Me either. I mean, actually, I did.
But Henry, have you not heard? Your cousin Richard has taken up with Vader.
Oh, has he?
Indeed, they make a handsome couple.
And is that even possible? I'd heard he was more machine than man.
Apparently,
Wait,
it's good
what am I
enough
saying? Make it even
I'm
more
saying-
possible. Goodness.
And also, Henry, did you know that apparently you can be infected with Sith?
This I did not know.
This is not how the Force works. Hamlet, we've gone over this many times.
I'm only going by what I see and what I can verify, Kenobi.
You know that right there, that is dark side talk.
And you think that Richard's going to join the Knight? Have you met him, Henry? You must explain your cousin Richard to Master Kenobi.
I don't know as anyone can explain Cousin Richard. He's a fellow who gets got a thing in his craw and could never get it out. You see, can't always questing for a thing he can never have.
I too know of someone like that.
Even when he has everything, he feels as though he has nothing. Never could learn to enjoy life, that one. Still,
Yes.
tricky it is, and unfortunately, I wish I could help the situation more, but see, there is a difficulty that perhaps you might be able to assist with. Yes.
Do go on.
He just sort of looks around for a moment. mayhap we should speak in private.
Kate, are you about done killing Henrys?
Yeah, so Kate, you've been, how many Henrys have you been fighting with at this point?
Anyone that gets close and tries to call me Catherine.
After the first two, I think they get the idea. So like a couple of them, they're like, bleeding, and a couple of medics have come up and are like, come on. And they've taken them to the sick bay. And the rest of them are just sort of like standing at like, you look over at Kate and they're like, there's sort of a ring of them around her, but none of them want to get within 5 feet.
Cream-faced loons, fat as butter. She takes another drink and keeps walking towards Hamlet. Are we going somewhere, my prince?
Apparently, Mercutio.
Indeed.
We're about to go do something fun. Bring the
Well.
drinks.
Not some sort of servant. Falstaff, you bring the drinks.
So Falstaff is currently still somewhere else.
I'm busy I'm field testing some of the replicators.
You can use your communicator to get in touch with him, though, if you want.
No. Have Kenobi do it. Use that little force thingy.
Don't talk to me like some servant.
But you're our only hope.
Somebody said that to me once before, and I'm pretty sure it led to my death.
Well, technically, are we alive? We're robots.
Yes, Falstaff.
Hmm?
Oh, I don't know. What do we use? I don't know how our communicators work.
We haven't defined that yet. Feel free to define it.
Did you need something?
Yes, come here, please. Okay, bye. I don't know if I can disconnect it, but I do. I hang up.
Quickly
I
tries
hang up,
to finish
Falstaff.
chewing and swallowing what he had stuffed in his mouth and works it and comes back out.
Apparently, my cousin Henry desires our assistance.
So be it.
I shall show this. Unto you. It's come with me if you would. And he steps down off the dais and he sort of says, whispers a couple of things to a couple of the guns. And they're like, and someone takes his place at the table and they're sort of looking at it again. And
Uh,
Now, does he glow when he steps away, when he's walking away from his throne?
He is still glowing.
Okay.
Can I?
mhm.
Before we leave the room, as I'm leaving, I want to turn and ask, make it look like I'm asking Mercutio to grab another drink, but ask him get a look at the map and see what he can see.
All right.
Does that make sense? Assuming that this is some sort of Hamlet thinks this is some sort of battle map, and he wants to see if he can at least get a better image of it to talk about it later. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, as a robot, do I have the ability to take a picture or something?
Sure.
Okay. I mean,
Okay, you just
Yeah.
look at it for a second, and then you.
I thought I would take out like an iPod.
You can do that too.
Yeah. So he'll take a normal picture of it, but then he'll take a selfie of himself in front of it as well.
Excellent.
And then he'll grab one of the Henry VIII, and then he'll just take a selfie with him too, just for kicks, and then move on.
Excellent. Yes, Henry VIII, strangely enough, takes excellent selfies. So you head. Henry Prime leads you down. Leads you over to a past the offices where and past the kitchens. And he heads over to an area. Sort of, he looks back. He heads over to an elevator. He presses a button. Well, actually, he puts his hand up against a thing on the wall, and it sort of reads him, and then it opens for him. And then he gets on the elevator. Signals for you to follow. And then he takes you down to a lower level of the station. And as he's doing so, he says, it is in fact quite fortuitous that you are here, as things are not entirely as they should be. And the elevator opens, and you are in an area that's basically it's one of the laboratories that's down here. You picture for those of you who saw Westworld, you may get a good sort of reference for this, sort of their testing labs type deal. So you have a lot of sort of big sort of rooms with glass walls that you can look into and see different things happening. You can see different facilities for the repair of robots, and so a few facilities with a few areas, and then you're seeing a few areas with a few naked Henry VIIIs sort of milling around and just sort of like bumping into each other and not really knowing.
I cover Kate's eyes.
They're not
so
all
she
there.
doesn't get nauseous.
And as he passes by that one, he's just sort of he looks at you, shrugs, he says, unfortunately, they still those models have yet to learn what's my best side, and he continues to apologies. He just says, waving his hand behind him.
Can I hit this one too?
In about 5 minutes.
Quick question: did he and Nestor both use the same hand, i.e., right versus left, when they activated the pads?
Yes, they both appeared to be right-handed.
Right-handed? Okay, thank you.
So he takes you to a larger sort of lab that you can kind of step down into, and there's a big kind of chamber in the middle. And you see there are a bunch of things that you think, Falstaff actually probably more than anyone else, thinks these are robot printers. He says, as I have for the most part been the only one here, I have only been able to make myself. I shall admit to you that I am perhaps not the best of company at times.
No.
I know it is shocking, but one must sometimes admit one's limitations, and I fear that is the case.
So
It
say
is-
all his wives.
Except for that one.
Well, okay, the one.
She was... Sometimes one takes rather a long time, apparently, to find one's ideal match. I am not completely certain, as I never experienced it personally. I am a prototype.
No, I mean, technically. Okay, yeah, this is true.
However, I was made in this image in this time to begin the project of procreation amongst our kind. 'Twas a secret project, apparently.
Not so secret if Claudius desires it.
That is another problem. It seems that he has something from this place. What I am not completely... I've done an inventory, and it seems as though everything is here, but... there is something. It's... I can say it is but a feeling more than anything else, but that there is something out of place. it is possible he has found a means, be that who it was. I was not certain who it might be, but Claudius does indeed. Your uncle sadly does fit that particular mold, as it were. Perhaps a stolen signal, perhaps something else. But should he have the means, since this was reactivated, then... oh no, this was... Actually, no, wait. Backing up. How long has he been said to have this ability?
No, not. All I know is that he's decided to up the perennial amount that he's offering for my head. And that your dear cousin Richard informed us that he desired it. And that was in the process of working on it. About the same time, he desired certain access codes with which he could lead the Imperials into Denmark.
Ah. I see.
Like I said, he got infected with Sith.
That's not...
Well then.
Ben, my dear friend Ben. He got infected with something.
Yeah, that's doesn't mean it's the Force. It's not how it works.
King Henry, if I may, it
He
could
needs a
be
gun.
that he has found some way to hook into your systems here and be able to connect them. Would you like me to do some diagnostic work on your machines here to see if he's gotten some sort of connection, some sort of communication connection or otherwise?
I should be most grateful to have a different set of eyes on this, as I have looked over every bit, and there are... You see, it is a difficulty, as I was created here, but unfortunately, as a creation of this particular station, I lacked the ability to overcome certain protocols. There may be something I'm not seeing, in other words, that perhaps you can.
Okay, well, let me give, with your permission, King Henry.
Indeed, Sir John.
All right, so
You have it.
myself, robotics, repair, because if it's been hacked in some sort of fashion, we'll need a repair to make sure he can't get back in
I
again.
should probably give you a difficulty before we start counting, so
Okay.
you need to know, so you
Sure.
know how much you need to pull in.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure I've got a good hold here of what you're looking for. So what is it you're looking for? Let me know, and then we can...
Looking for any sort of way that Claudius or someone in his employ could have hacked into the system to be able to get either software technology or reverse engineer what is built in here so they could make their own.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, myself,
And that's
robotics, repair if I find
Give me
something
difficulty
wrong to
four, just so you know.
stop it. Programming, because I'll be looking at the software programming. Modification to see if there's been if they've done some sort of mod to be able to get stuff. Deactivate it if I find it,
Okay.
and diagnose what the problem is.
All right. Yeah, I can also see forking and deactivation because it had to do with Henry's activation and deactivation as well. There's certain bits that block he can't get around, so that works
Right.
too. And you
So
want to
one,
use any pool dice?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What was that?
Do you want to use any pool dice?
I will use 1.
Okay. So I'll give you 8, and like I said, you need 4. You need 4
Okay.
dice.
Ah!
Okay. So you're gonna find something out as you're doing this.
That's what I get for being IBM and trying to diagnose on Apple.
So you're gonna get something, but you think So there you go in and you sort of plug in and you're doing a diagnostic. What does this look like when you do this? Do you have like a data pad or something, or are you just?
I
Like...
probably have some sort of tablet or small portable device, maybe tablet, maybe more of a smartphone, or the old palm pocket kind of thing to plug in and run code and stuff like that, and also some different tools to check out wiring and connections and things of that nature.
Okay. While you are doing this, let me advance things a little bit also over here. Henry, while Falstaff is doing this, Henry will turn to the rest of you. What I have, however, to ask, it occurs to me that we could assist each other should you need greater numbers for dealing with this situation. I would be willing to extend to you use of this technology and the assistance of the station, if in return I might have, well, I might be able to make a copy of more than just myself.
At this point, Hamlet takes 5 giant steps back and stands far behind Kate and just goes,
He just suggests that we procreate.
Well, as you can see, at his
She starts reaching in the pouch for the grenades.
Hamlet suddenly grabs Ben and then just kind of shoves Mercutio forward. It's like, I'm not. This one you get to try and deal with.
I don't believe I have the right parts for this.
I think.
Sorry, I'm busy.
Obi-Wan is completely like oblivious, and he's like, I can do it. I don't understand why you guys are all so hesitant.
Twould be a mighty thing to have more Jedi, would it not?
Exactly.
Would restore peace and order to Bardworld.
Yes, of course.
Remember what happened the last time somebody tried to forcibly restore peace and order? Ben.
We could probably
how
give
many
you
wives
maybe
he went through to
66
procreate?
reasons why not to do it.
I think you guys are thinking of some other story. This isn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh God, he's going to become the 7th wife. You know he's sterile, right? He can't procreate.
Well, I mean, technically he did have 3 children. He just
Are
couldn't
we
get
sure they're his?
Yes, unfortunately. Remember, there's that whole Hugh Fitzroy problem.
Oh, yes.
And David and
Yeah.
the other one, the girl. What's her name?
Yes. Oh.
Yes. Master Kenobi, if we can but have your just make a copy of your print.
Wait, you need this on file?
That is how we do it. Otherwise, we would have to have you here every time.
I don't trust you.
I take it then you would be willing to make use of it should you be present for the copies. A limited number.
I'm intrigued.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi limited collection.
From Kenner.
Obi-Wan Kenobi supporting
numbered
cloning.
and signed by
I know.
copies.
Obi-Wan Kenobi supporting cloning. Something's broken in his programming.
Excellent. Let's see here.
I think we long established that Obi-Wan was not programmed correctly.
Yes. Well. Let me see here. Just check. I just got to check a thing. All right, that probably did it. Yeah, there we go.
I mean, I don't see why a fair number of Kates would be so bad to roam around this particular station. It'd certainly keep the men in line.
So
You're assuming that there'd be men left.
So Falstaff, you do find something.
Okay.
And that is but you can't quite completely trace it. You know that there has been, it seems like there is the mark here of some sort of tracer having been run through this system. You cannot see it directly. It is hiding. However, you think you could probably get a definite fix on it and indeed from the code determine whose it is if you saw the machine in action.
Okay.
If it were activated and an actual copy being made of someone, then you would be able to see the thing operating and where the signal is going and probably whose it is.
Would it matter if it is a new person versus another Henry VIII?
It would not. As long as it could be
As long
anybody.
as it's a copy being made of something, even if it's something that's already been done before. As long as it's activated.
Yep.
Okay, I inform Prince Hamlet of the scenario, and I tell everybody what I found up to this point.
Do you do this in earshot of Henry?
Not yet.
Okay. So what do you say to him to get them away?
I tell him to keep an eye on this screen a second while I have to tell something to Hamlet real quick, and then I pass
you
the
have
information.
something. Good. All right. He's he's distracted.
Keep an eye on this real quick. Let me know if you see the same number come up 5 times in a row.
Ah, very good.
And now I walk over, give the information to Hamlet, so Hamlet can tell the other members of the team, and then I'll quickly head back so that way Henry doesn't get too suspicious.
So ideally what he needs then is a copy of someone. Master Kenobi could be you, Mercutio could be you. It probably shouldn't be me at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Mercutio, do you think you can have more? You can stand more of you around?
I would think that would be too much party and carousing.
Well, you would leave one here, and then the other would come with us.
Oh. Why shouldn't we just leave a Kate here? I mean, I would imagine that he's really looking for more women folk to.
Because I believe the idea is to at least leave one of the Henrys alive.
Is it? I thought we were tasked with eliminating all of them. I can't keep up with these plans. This is not within my wheelhouse, as it were.
I mean, my noble father did declare that he was escaping and it was problematic for him to escape. I can kind of see why if he's making copies of a copy of a copy. The original must degrade at some point, no?
Yeah.
True.
Perhaps. But
Would there be any harm?
we could play the long game and just let them make as many Kates as they want. And then eventually the Kates will kill all the Henrys, and our mission is complete without us so much as lifting a sword.
Then we have multiple Kates.
And do you really want to set that on the rest of the world?
I mean, I'm all for it, Kate. You know I entirely respect you and think that you're a fabulous person. entirely.
I'm sure we could survive if we just make sure that there's a steady supply of wine and cats for companions on this space vessel.
It's okay.
Maybe a few books.
I have a question. If I talk them out of cloning Kate, does this count as me protecting others from harm?
I think if you view it that way, well, yeah, actually it does. Either way,
I think
really.
it would.
And it wouldn't be Kate you were protecting.
Hit that key.
I mean, like, honestly, we wouldn't even have to come back to this station, one would assume.
I mean,
No, I don't see what's wrong with not having me as the clone. I would like to see this process. I'm intrigued.
Why not clone Falstaff?
That is a possibility.
because I've seen what one Falstaff has done.
Lord Hamlet, you could make one of me, you hear in the back of your head, if you so desire. We could arrange it so. Or actually,
I mean,
other things perhaps, other things that you can remember. Other people. We have the
If we're
means.
if we're going to do any of this, I think we're really going to have to go with Ben or Mercutio. One of those is probably the most
Safest?
less likely to get us all killed imminently.
Least problematic.
In the short term.
You might
Mercutio's
desire
gonna look a
greater
little.
control of this technology, my Lord Hamlet. We could give it to you.
I really think, I mean, Mercutio, do you honestly desire anything to go beyond and kill massive amounts of people? Besides Tybalt?
No, not particularly. That is not in the Carouser Code.
So an extra carouser on Henry's little satellite wouldn't be a problem.
I think he wants a little bit more than just one Mercutio, however.
I mean, it is Henry. I would not put it past him that he would need more than one. Henry apparently needs a lot. He's very needy.
Well, then why don't we all just give him a clone of us? See how that party works out.
I'm gonna say that probably not the best bet for me to have more than one of me in case there's an issue involving, well, Claudius wants me dead. And there's the whole issue of inheritance and does killing a clone of me count as actually killing me and therefore removing me from the line of succession and putting his own child on the throne? It gets fuzzy, correct?
Or we could
Look like
make
a
a whole supply and keep a whole supply of you, and then as he kills one off, we bring out the other and all that, and there's a never-ending supply of Hamlets just in case, and there's always one around.
Well, then you run into the whole problem. Does the clone know what the Prime knows?
True.
It really becomes complicated. I think in this case, heirs to thrones should not be cloned. But I also think that kings should not be cloned, and we see how well Henry did with that.
Well,
The temptation was so great.
I mean, but admittedly, it makes a little bit of sense. Henry did desire to create his own immortality, and now he has. Without even having the women in his life around. Ooh, Kate,
yes.
can you do you still have that contact number for Catherine?
Ooh.
You know,
Or Anne?
Jane.
Ooh. Well then, wouldn't want Henry to be lonely now, would we?
No.
And it might be at least slightly more pleasant company.
But I think if if any of you desire to partake in this, I shall not stop you. It is your own choice.
I really think it's safest for them that this Catherine not be replicated.
Then we shall inform him that any of you volunteering who desire to volunteer, and Kate, you and I should make a long-distance phone call.
Yes.
Let's step out of the way. I'll leave it in your capable hands, Ben. I'm sure that you can handle everything.
I got this.
I'm snagging more wine from a passing Henry.
Well, down here there's only one Henry.
Oh.
Down here in the lab.
Wait,
It's okay.
so she'll take the bottle and let's go get more wine. This one's empty.
Why is it? My cousin, my dear cousin Henry,
Indeed.
we're going to fetch more libations. Apparently we're out. It seems a poor thing to participate in such an endeavor without libations, no?
Oh, indeed. Yes, we've had to simply make our own here, and it does degrade after some time, after so many iterations. I have not seen any of these symbols repeat 5 times as of yet.
That is good.
False stuff. Ben is, Master Kenobi, of course, my cousin. Ben will be right back. And he's gonna kind of like, let's go, Kate. We have a phone call to make.
All right, I go back over to see what's happening with the pad to see if anything else has popped up of interest.
No, I mean, you've already gotten all the information that you're going to get right now.
Or make it look like I'm looking for more stuff.
Okay. So who is leaving the lower area and who is staying?
Kate and Hamlet are leaving.
I'm staying.
Yeah, staying.
I suppose I shall stay as well.
All right. So as the 3 of you who are staying down here, King Henry turns. Has a decision been arrived at?
Yeah.
I believe.
Are we all getting cloned?
No, I believe Kate and Hamlet are making a call to bring a better.
They're getting more drinks.
They're getting more drink.
I see.
Ben's gonna get cloned.
Ah!
And
Very good. Are you ready? Are you ready then, Sir Kenobi?
I'm not, but I'll do it for the good of humanity.
It's always good to be to reminisce, I suppose. Yes, excellent. And he says, he pushes a few buttons, and the chamber opens. And he says, "Yes, all you need to do is merely stand within for a few moments, and I shall respect your wishes as you desire for this. We shall not record your print. How many do you wish to make?"
At least one.
Very good. I think that'll at least help. And then step forth.
Oh yes, I step in,
Okay.
and I do the thing that the guy soccer players do, where I like cover myself a little bit to protect myself from the radiation.
You do that. And he says, "Very good. It'll be just a moment." And the chamber closes. Excellent to have access to the. Excellent. We can have more Jedi. That shall help out quite a bit.
yes, Jedi influenced by Henry VIII. What could possibly go wrong?
Precisely my thought. And he presses some buttons, and you see you see the lights go up and down on the thing, and you see one of the printers activate, and it starts lasering out a robot. Falstaff, you see immediately. You immediately can now catch the thing as it's transmitting out, and you see a couple of things. One is that the code is very reminiscent of someone who works in Iago's information network. And Iago works for Richard III usually, unless they've split for some reason. Could be a number of folks, because there are a few of them who have signed up for that. The second thing you get is that Iago does work for Richard III, doesn't he? Yeah. So yeah, you do find that seems there. So if he's still working for Richard, then it seems odd that Richard wants the technology. So something weird might be going on, or it could be someone who broke away from the network. Hard to say, but that's what the code is.
Okay.
The second thing that you note, however, is the nearest relay point, which appears to be drifting among the rocks just a bit outside of the station. I am now going to cut to Hamlet and Kate. And do you go back to the Burbage? Is that where you're making the call? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
He's also checking the call that he made to Hal.
So you get back up. The Henry has given you access to come back down when you need to. So you head up. You go to the Burbage. And when you get onto the bridge, you see the light blinking that you have a message incoming, an incoming communication request from Henry V.
Kate, do you want to be here for this? It is Hal.
Oh, I wouldn't mind.
I figured.
I'm a Catherine.
Henry, my cousin!
And he appears, and he is actually, he seems to be at the helm of a vessel. He is working. A little bit of history on this version of Henry V. He has, when the ghost asteroid debacle happened, and he lost his place there, he went and basically then raised an army very quickly and took over the asteroid of Versailles. Which is not on the map, but it happened really fast. And
is that in the Brana or the Olivier cluster?
Yeah, it is to the south of the Olivier cluster, he immediately kicked out Emperor Napoleon, who was in charge of it at that point, so. It didn't take him very long, which is surprising since it was against Napoleon, but these things happen.
It was the archers.
It's Hal versus France. I've got money on Hal.
Yeah. So that's, sometimes
he still has the best bowman.
Sometimes the fiction wins. So you see him, and he's actually looks like he's kind of in the midst of a battle that's going on, and you think he's somewhere in the Olivier cluster right now. So a message bleeps on. Is like, Hamlet, good to see you. Are you all right?
Are you? Well, that's complicated. Are you busy?
Well, one learns to multitask. He says he's typing things in. He says,
are you going after Orleans now?
There's we've had call to we had a call to aid them of the West Side Storyland, as
Oh,
it appears that things are in stress. They appear to be going for Jaques station, so we're trying to help defend it.
against whom?
Well, everyone. We've got everyone. Veda has gone to war with Claudius. And I think that is where we're going to go ahead and take our break. As we're now at this point in the game, we're about halfway through. So let us take 5-10 minutes, and we shall return and continue our tale. See you shortly. Okay, we have returned. I turned off the festival. Let me turn the festival back on. So it seems then that so as Hamlet and Kate have just discovered, that apparently a couple of the factions are now kind of entered into war. Those being Vader and Claudius. We've just discovered from their friend Hal, who is currently out doing contract work, basically, for West Side Storyland. They haven't quite managed to get to, what he will tell you is that they haven't quite managed to get to Jaquez Station. He doesn't know what their situation is yet over there. But they're probably in danger. Anyone between Denmark and the Death Star right now is probably going to be kind of in danger. Just as I'll sort of to illustrate, I will show everyone the map real quick. He will also, as you're talking, he will say that Midsummer Nightland has closed its borders. The Fae apparently have the ability to do that. They make it so that you cannot find Midsummer Nightland if they so desire.
Well, true to form.
Not a surprise.
No. So that is a thing that has happened.
You tried reaching out to Robin. If we need to get there, can you reach out to Robin?
Of course.
Okay.
There's an excellent question. He did say that he had something he had to do, but that he should be able to take care of it pretty quickly when you left him at the Jaquez Station.
And for player recollection, we left Horatio at Jaquez Station, correct?
Yes, that's right. He was there. Primarily, he stayed behind to make sure Horatio was okay. But he did say that after some initial stuff that he was going to have to run an errand or two.
Well, there's Oberon. Well, Hal, have you heard from your great-grandson lately?
Remind Jim who Hal's great-grandson is.
Henry VIII.
Henry VIII.
Well, sort of.
Yeah. He turns and he's like shooting. Last I'd heard he'd. It's an interesting one that he's seems to be dealing with a number of things of his own, and is still trying to do as he does and figure out how to deal with the whole lineage, even though he doesn't seem to realize that lineage is no longer a factor for us. But these things happen.
Would you be surprised if I told you that I just came from meeting at least 10 score?
He's still obsessed with procreating.
How is that? Excuse me. He fires a shot at a couple of things and at a ship and destroys it. He comes back. How is that possible?
We're working on figuring it out. Prototypes.
For I know that there are indeed multiples of some of us. I know that there are at least 2 of me. I know there are at least 2 of Sir John.
I know of
3
at
of
least
Sir John.
4. I know of at least 4 of your father.
Yeah, yes, he did get about quite a bit.
But no, this unfortunately, apparently, he's learned he's found a prototype of him, has managed to copy himself.
I see. Well then.
And I believe this is the procreation my dear Uncle Claudius has spoken of.
Of course. Well, yes, he's. These are trying times, and it seems as
they
though
are the time. They are the times indeed that test men's souls.
Quite, oh, quite. Ah, yes. Indeed. Did, I presume you dealt with the bounty hunters all right?
I mean, that's a perpetual problem. I'll get around to all of them eventually.
No, I mean most recently there was word that a rat, I believe, that you're acquainted with, Miss Kate, Lady Kate, that fellow Petruchio.
Oh, that one. I believe we did. Did we not? Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Most satisfying.
Ah, good, excellent.
Most satisfying resolution.
Oh, that's good.
Totally blew out of the sky.
I am glad to hear that. I am quite glad to hear that, because the last person that I wish to see again is Boba Fett. Your proximity alarm is going off.
Well then, apologies, cousin. Apparently we have a small issue to deal with. Enjoy your battle.
Always do.
Give Catherine my love.
Say hi to, well,
Yes.
as she said, say hello to Catherine for us.
Of course. I shall send your regards.
And if you get to Jacques Station, can you maybe say hello to Horatio and to not get captured? But oh, by the way, just so you're aware, Richard got infected with Sith.
Seems he's been sleeping with Vader.
So that's how the Force works. I always did wonder.
We're forging new canon here.
Ha!
It makes just as much sense as midichlorians, admit it.
That's fair.
You just
But,
hear in your head, that's not how this works.
And Hamlet has no reaction to a voice he cannot try to a physical person talking to him in his head.
He's already got one.
Oh, I can show you how the Force works if you want, my lord. It's quite simple.
So, just so you're aware, Richard apparently has been infected with Sith. But he's still monologuing, if that's a concern. It's very...
Well, that, those two things may go hand in hand for all I know. Interesting.
He also gets very loopy when he starts monologuing.
Ah, quite. Understood. Well then, we shall keep on the lookout, as we did suspect that there was such an arrangement, especially after he lost Iago.
Oh, he lost Iago, to whom?
He seems to be a bit of a free agent these days, but I'm willing to bet given our current conflict, that he flipped to the side that with whom Vader is now embroiled.
And while he's having this conversation, Hamlet's starting up the engines and putting on the afterburners and getting the whole thing started because of the proximity alarm.
Mm-hmm.
And shutting down the locks.
Yeah, and Kate is notifying Falstaff in the background through the personal comms, going, proximity alarms are going off on the ship.
Yes. And just a second after that happens, you see these flashing lights in the inside those of you who are in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
See these sort of like this alert light comes on and starts flashing, as Henry, and they're almost finished with making the second Obi-Wan, Henry is like looking at them and fine, someone is that. Seems someone is coming into an attack position. I'd best send best send the defenders out.
Yes, you best do. While this is going on, is there any way I can intercept the signal that's going out to Iago and either block it or scramble it from him receiving it?
You may attempt to do so, yes. Now that you've got a hold of it. This will be... So this is going to be kind of tricky. But yeah, now that you've got a hold of it, I'll say it's a difficulty 3.
Okay. All right, it'll be all the same as before, and I'll go ahead and throw 1 in to make it 8.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, you can pretty much use that same pattern there, yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. Excellent. So yes, as this is going on,
And while I'm at it, I also want to make sure that the copy in the files of Obi-Wan is deleted so that no other prints can be made. Or with this attack going on, can I stop it right now and abort the entire procedure? So there's still only just one Obi-Wan.
Yeah, you're in the system now, so you can abort the procedure if you want. You can make sure the print. Actually, it's not making a copy of him, of his, and it's making a copy of him, but it's not making a record of his print.
Right.
So
I just want to make sure that maybe Iago isn't causing it to.
That's fair.
Store something in there as well to come back into it.
So yeah, you're so now you know where to look, and you start looking in there and making sure everything's out. And I'll actually get back to you on a point there.
Sure.
You actually, well, it's I don't have to. I can tell you right now. There's a sub file you actually find that it looks like it's just sort of sitting there on the drive. That you kind of look into while this is going, and you find there actually are there actually is another print in there.
Okay,
And for some reason, you think this might fall into the category of something Henry couldn't see. He couldn't access it for whatever reason.
I want to download that onto that file onto my pad, and I want to delete it from his files.
Okay. All right. So you do that.
Just in case.
Certainly, absolutely. So you're in the process of doing that. Meanwhile. As this is going on, well, actually, let me ask further. Are you shutting down? Well, yeah, making sure I understand. Are you stopping the cloning process, or are you letting the second Obi-Wan be created?
I'm going to stop it simply because with the alarms going off, I know we got to get back to the ship pronto.
Okay.
And I found out the information we need, so we don't really need to complete the process.
That's fair enough. So you're kind of able. Henry is a little upset about that, but you kind of understand because it's like he's distracted now by the fact that the station is being attacked.
Go defend your station. I'll clean things up.
Fair
here.
enough. So the three of you are down there. Just before I go back to Hamlet and Kate, what are the three of you down there doing?
So as soon as this is all downloaded and set to that, I'm gonna be directing us back to. I'm gonna be heading back to our ship.
Does the chamber open up? Can I get out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Once he stops it, the chamber reopens.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the chamber on a platform or is it on level ground?
It is on a platform. You do step up one little step.
Okay. So as it opens, I say, "I have the high ground," and then I follow Falstaff.
I want to give you an XP, even though I'm sure that's not in your keys.
It's not.
But I feel as though, you sort of step out and you see this proto Obi-Wan that has not been finished in a chamber. It's like still, there are a few layers that still needed to be put on. So it's not done cooking, and they're of course not going to be able to finish cooking it.
I'm gonna hate myself, but just for a safe measure, can I activate my lightsaber and put my lightsaber through this unfinished?
You certainly may. You decapitate yourself.
You see a single teardrop too.
Feels kind of weird.
I don't like this.
I had to go into a tree once, kind of had an experience like this. So Mercutio, are you doing anything else down here, or are you just heading up with everyone else?
I'm heading up with everyone else, but not as hurried as everyone is, because Crowds of Code indicates that you can't rush at all.
I've got to find. I've got to find out about the carouser code. We need more information.
I'm just gonna make it up as I go along.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be like the Ferengi laws of acquisition. We'll make them up as we go.
That's
No,
right.
I'm doing it the same way that Barney from How I Met Your Mother did with the bro code. We'll do flashbacks to stories of ancient yore, which established the code.
Excellent. So,
Yeah.
so you folks, where are you folks headed? Are you headed back up to the Burbage, or are you headed elsewhere?
Burbage.
Okay, you're Burbaging. Hamlet, do you wait for them to get there before you take off from the station?
Have I been told that they're on their way?
I presume they have the ability to communicate with you,
Yeah.
and could tell you. But
Oh, I'm assuming that Kate's the one in having that conversation.
Right.
Like, I'm still talking to
Yeah,
Hal.
because Kate communicated to me saying that to
Yeah,
hustle my butt and get going. So as we're heading out, I'm telling Kate we're on our way.
And as soon as Kate hears that, she'd relay that to Hamlet.
Well, okay, I'll be right back. And he's going to do a full pull up, swing it around once, and then buzz back to drop swing around and drop the cargo bay and pull him up as a, slide open the van door and have everybody come in and then book it
okay.
to avoid getting shot in the back.
So yes, your sensors have picked up a single ship that appears to be, and it's actually hard to keep it on the sensors. But something happened apparently within the last few minutes to get it to react in some way. And you see some of the Lance ships heading out, trying to go out and engage it, and it's just it's making mincemeat of them, basically.
Kate's working on a firing solution.
As it gets closer, you figure out that yes, it's sort of an oval shaped type thing with sort of longer bits. And you do realize after a moment that the ship that you were looking at, once you finally actually almost get it in visual, well, not quite, but you get an image, that it is in fact Slave One.
Once all the others are on the ship, like, have I gotten the others?
Yeah, we can say that they're scrambling up onto the ramp now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as the ramp, you would hear Hamlet say, "Might want to hold on to something. I'm about to do something a little fun." He's gonna play chicken.
Excellent.
Bye.
Okay.
Kate's
And
on
then-
the triggers.
Yeah. Obi-Wan, Mercutio, the fun translates towards as many seatbelts as you can lash on. Get them on.
So you aim your ship at Slave One.
And he's gonna do one of these, like play chicken with Slave One, and then at the last second, dip underneath and slide this way so that the turret underneath, Kate can just laser screw underneath and just cut a giant hole.
As you're prepping for this, you get a signal in from one of the Lance ships,
Little busy at the moment, Henry. What do you need?
and it's you see it's Nestor. It says, "Lord Hamlet, we see you're engaging. Do you desire aid?"
Get out of my way.
Understood. They're jousting. They've entered a joust, and they start getting very excited.
Those things never gone well for Henry.
And
No. That's why I needed him out of the way.
okay, so you are playing chicken with Boba Fett. This is going to be difficulty 5.
Okay.
This is
well,
going to be very difficult to be able to. You want to, I assume, get into a position where Kate can then fire on them.
Yeah, like I want to pull one of these, and then at the last second, this.
Okay. Yeah.
I will definitely be aiding in this by keeping up harrying fire.
Okay.
And so one just cause pilot maneuvering, because well, this is maneuvering, evading his fire, caution, sort of, in the sense that I want to make sure I'm doing this at the right possible moment. This is tricky as hell flying. The obstacle is the ship itself. I would say I'm being a daredevil, and playing chicken is always daredevil.
Indeed.
I'm pretty sure that Slave One had tractor beams on it to eliminate ships and control them. And then I would say that I'm using his own ship as concealment to conceal what I actually intend to do, which is let Kate fire all over him. So
Excellent.
that was 10. And I would say I'm going to use 2 from my pool, so for 12.
And I've donated that dice.
So 13 from Kate.
Do you need any more? Do you think you've got enough, or do you want one? Do you want one more?
I mean, I got 13.
Okay.
I mean, like, I could fail this horrendously. If you want to try and help, go right ahead. How would you help?
Well, I would help with my robotic stuff to make sure that he doesn't try to disappear on us or anything, to keep the sensor lock on.
Okay, and then I'll add 3 from my pool to make it an even 15.
Excellent.
Just, let's go big, go home.
All right.
For 9 successes.
9 successes, I think, will be enough to get into a good position here. Okay. So with that 3, so what does this look like as you are barreling toward this ship?
And at the time he's doing this, he's messaged the other Henrys to get out of the way, because he knows that Henry VIII is many things, but an actual combat veteran is not one of them. He's like, you're in my way, get out of it. As opposed to Hamlet, who was a moderate combat veteran and did actually serve moderately in his father's army at some point.
Indeed.
He also is still having a running conversation with Hal about, it's like, well, I'm sorry about this, Hal. I really do apologize. But then again, and he's like keeping up this whole conversation and he's focused very much on getting that ship right, full acceleration right at the last second. And then he's like, well, I'm going to do something fun. Hold on a second. And flips the whole wheel and spins the ship in air and just lets Kate laser cut underneath.
All right, so that, I think, given the overwhelming success that you have, you actually manage somehow to get into exactly the right position as this is going on. Boba Fett, however, is a hell of a pilot also, so I'm going to say this is still going to be difficulty 4, Kate, to be able to do a decent amount of damage here.
All right. Well, we've got 1 just because. Gunnery. Aimed. Firearm. Moving target. Space battle. Under fire. So that's 7.
Do I count as helping by putting her in the right position?
Well, you can provide additional dice to help if you wish, but that's why the difficulty was only 4.
Okay, but I'm going to provide an extra die then.
Sure, feel free.
That's 8, and I'll throw in one of my own just because. All right, so I have 9 total, correct?
Ah!
Nicely done.
Oh, and that hits a key.
You blast this thing, and you manage to get it at just the right point, and it explodes beautifully. And it's one of those folding over circular explodey things that you see in the movies of the appropriate kind, where it sort of comes out and bits drift off from each other as this is going on. So you have managed to take out Boba Fett. Congratulations.
That's 2. Kate's like, that's 2 on the list.
I'm sorry, Hal. I was dealing with a minor problem. You won't have to be worried about Boba Fett anymore.
Oh, that's quite good to know.
He met Kate.
I should have guessed. Sorry, still a little busy. As he's still shooting at people.
You know where to find me if you ever need a call. I'm going to go make another phone call to find another Catherine.
Ah, great. Well, good luck there. Things are rather strange. I should say, by the way, I would recommend you may wish to get back to this side of the to this side of Bard World when you have a chance, as there does appear to be rather a lot going on, and a certain stabilizing factor might be in order. It is up to you, of course, but it seems that everything is going rather to chaos.
Well, okay. Well, chaos. I seem to thrive in it. See you anon, Henry.
Indeed, anon. And he will disconnect while he is simultaneously, blowing up 2 or 3 ships.
I have... In that combat troop, I have money on Henry. Well then, Ben, how did the experimentation go as he kind of pulls the ship back around for a landing?
Oh, there was one of me. And then there was half of one of me. I killed that one. I probably should have killed the full one, but I killed the half one.
No, I think there's only you with a full one.
Oh, was it? Did I get this mixed up? I thought there were 2. Was there only one?
Well, it's hard to know. There's this whole numbering thing, and then the Sith enjoy numbering things only to do. There might be other versions of Obi-Wan out there, because Shakespeare wrote apparently 6 different plays with Obi-Wan in it. So.
But I meant the clones.
Not counting the ghost of Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I purely meant the clones that were directly being cloned of me.
There was only one being made of you, yes. And
okay. Oh.
That one you bifurcated.
Then let's just take back everything I said. Oh, there was one. I killed it. You're welcome.
Okay, well, that's appreciative. Apparently we should, apparently Iago has joined with my dear Uncle Claudius. This might be complicated.
How interesting. Because he was the one who he had some sort of connection to the replicating devices that Henry VIII was using.
Ah.
I was able to scramble up everything and block him from doing other things with it, but appears that the bandwidth that the signal that was going to was the wavelength that he normally uses.
I mean, it's Iago. He betrays everyone. That's what Iago does.
Also true. Do you wish to call Catherine Parr, then, Kate?
Might as well keep Henry out of trouble, or those Henrys out of trouble at least. They'll get themselves killed going out in those Lancers. So yes, let me give her a call.
Okay. So let's see, Catherine Parr. Jim is checking a couple of things. So that's number 6, yes?
Yes, number 6.
Yeah.
All right, yes.
The one that survived.
Okay, I presume, that, She is also on the probably on the more the western end of Bard World, probably at this point. Although, well, let me see. Hang on, I bring up this stuff. A lot of a lot of the Tudor stuff was around here previously, but yeah, a lot of these things. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking. Okay. What do you think is... okay, actually, here. I'm going to do that thing that you're supposed to do and ask your players questions. What do you think would be a defining characteristic of... an interesting defining characteristic of Catherine Parr? What's she like, do you think, these days?
I mean, she enjoyed Henry at his worst. So that says something.
And having younger, fitter, not quite as gouty Henrys might even lend it more of an attraction.
So, all right, yes. Just for the sake of having it here.
And I mean, he was her third husband.
Yeah. Henry at his worst and his most fittest.
So, I think that, let's see. I feel like she probably at this point more or less has, so it's interesting, right? Because the one that's in the, I'm trying to remember when the one that's in the play comes from, what point in his life. And I just sort of looked at this earlier, but I'm going to say for right now, for whatever reason, she and he are not in the same place. But I think that she is probably either going to be in 12th Nightland or on Rosebud, probably one of those two currently. So that's going to take a little time to bounce the signal. So if you want, you can hang out and wait, or do other things in the meantime.
Do you have any desire to remain on Tudor Station?
Only if I can stay on the ship. Although, I mean, I have to admit it is rather fun tearing them apart. I do enjoy a good brawl, and I haven't had one in so long.
So you do, after a little bit, you do find out, as I'll say, that the relay actually goes through a little faster this time. So I'm just sort of looking these things over. Yeah. Because as you do that sort of signal out, and it kind of comes back. And she will say that. Well, let me see. How do we work this? How do we work this? What do you send an outgoing message of any kind, or is it just get back in touch?
Catherine, it's Catherine. I'm calling about Henry.
Okay. Nice.
Wait.
No, not that Catherine. The other Catherine. We met.
So you will get a signal.
Mercutio. Yes, that's the one.
So you will get a signal back, and You can see that she's actually. It looks like she's actually over at Jaquie's Bar and Grill. When she answers, and she's looking over as she's sort of. Catherine.
Yes. Hi. How are you, Catherine?
Things are a bit stressful at the moment. I didn't realize I was going to get stuck here.
Would you like a way off?
That would be nice. As well, it is rather tricky. You see, I came with Kane's party. He came up from Rosebud for a bit, and they have closed off the. It's a bit tricky. They have closed off the station.
Oh, who's closing it off?
Well, right now it's in lockdown because of it seems that Claudius is getting a bit grabby.
I've heard that about Claudius. I'm actually with Hamlet at the moment, and I'm open. I've opened up so Hamlet can hear this call. Yeah. Well, we were just visiting Henry. It seems that
Yes.
he's still looking to procreate.
Is not he always?
Well, yes, but this isn't that Henry. This is a younger Henry, a fitter Henry, a slimmer Henry.
Did they make more?
Oh, they made a lot more.
How is that possible?
Would you like to find out?
I should quite, yes.
Excellent. Oh, can you tell me, is Horatio there?
Yes. He was. Oh, yes. He should be. I did see him earlier. He seems to be recovering. Over in Saint Batman's. He seems to be doing all right.
I should have glanced at Hamlet at that news.
But there is. He has. He's not completely well, though. He seems to be hallucinating. He's talking to people that aren't there. We've been trying to run. They've been trying to run diagnostics, but we're not entirely sure what's been going on with him.
Anybody else having that problem?
Well, there have been. It is funny, now that you mention it, it does seem as though there's been rather a lot more soliloquizing of late, which is unusual.
Yes.
That one does not typically do that quite so much. One falls into one's loops from time to time, but that it doesn't seem as though. It seems as though that's happening with greater frequency, and they do seem to be. Some of the people here are sort of. I'm not entirely sure what it is that is happening with them, but yes, there are individuals who have been communing in that way, and I think. Well, yes, young Puck, that fellow seemed to be talking to someone before he left the station, just before they went into a little bit before they went into lockdown.
Really? Did you happen to hear who he was talking to? Did he say a name?
She's thinking back. No, I didn't catch the name.
All right. Well, thank you. I tell you, we will be there as quickly as we can. We're on our way, and to reunite you with your king.
Well, that's very kind of you. This should be very interesting. I should at least like to find out what it is that is happening, because it seems that Henry hasn't really wanted anyone's help recently since the incident.
Well, yes, but the thing is, as I said, he seems to have found a way to procreate. And it seems that there's just a whole mess of them. And he's looking for company.
Good Lord, that's what he's always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought you might be.
And there's jousting going on.
Oh, yes, and there is jousting.
I
going
should
on.
like to see that. I don't know that I should like to see dozens and upon dozens of him, but I suppose that, well, these are things that must be dealt with. He needs help. It sounds as though he needs help. So I shall.
Oh, yes. Yes, he does.
I shall do what I can. If
All right, well,
I
we
can
will.
never get off of this place.
We will do what I can. We'll come get you.
I thank you. I thank you very much.
Okay. Yes. Look for us in a few days.
Very good. I shall do so.
All right. Take care.
You as well.
So,
Well then, appears we are going to Jacques Station.
You heard about Puck?
Puck talking to people who aren't there isn't really...
Fair.
Also, the possibility of Puck talking to people who aren't there might not be the same thing as other people talking to people who aren't there. I mean, the last time Puck was around, he did go off on a minor rant and, well, he decided to vent his frustrations at Oberon.
Oh, that always goes so well. And Horatio doesn't seem to be doing well either. Apparently, he's caught that. Would Kate know about the virus thingy that's?
We don't know that there's a virus because Falstaff hasn't told us, but you know that because I broadcast ship-wide when I saw Yorick, and you heard my half of the conversation. So you know that there's something going on, and Falstaff was about to tell us when we landed. So.
Yep. Well, it appears that there's an outbreak of people talking to themselves.
The syphilis is spreading.
I hope it is not the syphilis. I understand that's incurable.
Yeah, it is forcicillin resistant.
Wait, are you guys still in the same room as me?
Yes. We're all on the ship. I mean,
I don't know if you guys had gone off to another room.
no, well, I was piloting and,
Kate,
Like, Ben is just over doing like something totally different, and all you hear is just, that's not how it works.
Well, explain to me how it works then.
It's the Force. It's the Force.
Which apparently Richard is now using, and the only thing I can tie it to with any connection or evidence I have seen is his long-established, well, I don't know how long it's been, but his established relationship with Theta.
Have you checked? Oh, yes.
I have a quick thing I just want to interpose briefly. What is Obi-Wan thinking about right now?
Before or after this conversation?
No,
started?
right at this moment. At this moment
Right
in
at
the
this
conversation, what is Obi-Wan thinking?
He's probably thinking of midichlorians.
Okay. In the Hamlet, in the back of your head, you hear, oh yeah, they try to use, oh yes, that's true, they do try to use midichlorians, but it's, there are other ways. You need merely give in. See, I can let you hear them. Sorry, go ahead.
What? Have you checked his midichlorian count?
No, I have not gotten up close and personal with Richard III.
Well, then, how do you know it's not that, which is how the Force works?
You can put
Well, I
this
really
bit
don't
on
understand
yourself,
that.
you know.
But how does the midichlorian actually get into?
Yes.
This is where my knowledge doesn't. You're born with it, right? This is Sam asking?
Oh, Sam asking. I think.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we can make it up because this is thousands,
Right,
hundreds of
true.
thousands of years later. But
Then I will say that you're born with it, of course.
Well, then how does Richard III, who hadn't been born with it, or in this case made and created with it, have it now? He must have contracted it somehow.
I mean, how do you know he wasn't born with it? Did you check it at his birth?
I mean, theoretically, Hamlet is older than Richard III? But no, why would I want to deal with any of the deplaginates if I don't have to?
Well, how do you know he didn't have this at birth?
He's never used it before.
It doesn't
Exactly.
mean he didn't have it. He just didn't have a way to hone his skills.
So you're saying he didn't get it from Vader? Vader taught him.
Of course.
Well, I'm equally sure that Richard taught Vader something else.
Most likely.
I don't know what you are referring to, but it is not the Force.
Well, it's a type of programming, really. I can show you how to unlock it if you desire, my lord.
Captain,
Yes, Falstaff.
I believe we were in the process of doing something before we landed at Tudor Station. Would you like to complete that process anytime soon?
Give me, let's get out of Tudor Station's relay for a little bit. Wait, do you tell us that there's a relay near to Tudor Station for Iago's network?
That was
Falstaff knows, but I don't think Hamlet does, because Hamlet and Kate had
Yeah.
gone with Burbage.
Yeah, Iago, the signal going from the replicating machines went to some sort of relay station that Iago appeared, or someone working with or for Iago has hidden out here in the region here. I was able to get it. I think I was able to track down the location.
Well, let's see if we can find that and deal with that, and then at the same time we might try and deal with that other problem. And then we can go to Jacques Station, because apparently, my dear uncle has decided to start a war. And Hal probably looks like he needs some help. Mercutio, you'll have plenty of time to carouse and have fun, and also possibly kill more folk.
Kill? I don't think you understand what the carousal code actually entails.
Well, I mean, there's carousing, there's drunken carousing, and then there's drunken dueling carousing.
Well, I'm not one to really cross swords, per se.
No, you're not. But yes, let's get this out of at least the sphere of Henry, and then we can, you can have what you desire, Falstaff. Or,
Okay.
You can run the diagnostic as you wish.
We're blowing up an asteroid.
Probably.
Oh, good. I'll go prepare the explosives.
Yes, Kate, you may get your big boom.
Kate does like big boom.
I can always demonstrate if you like, my lord. It's quite simple as long as if you access your rage. I can unlock the protocols. You can destroy the asteroid without even using the guns.
Kate, I'm sure that you've double-checked this, but we made sure that all of the armaments are secure and there's no way for anyone else to access them.
Yes, very much so. I used one of Henry's hands.
Oh, good. We still have the head, right?
Yes, I thought about showing it to Catherine to let her know, but I probably wouldn't be a good idea.
No, you should send a picture to Anne.
Oh, yes, I will do that. And what was the other one?
Catherine Howard.
Yes, that Catherine. Oh, she doesn't come to meetings often.
Meetings for what? Catherine's Anonymous?
Well, there's so many of us Catherines that we just, after a while, we started getting together and having drinks, and so many of us have been done so wrong by so many men. I mean, really, Hal's Catherine is really the only one that doesn't come to the meetings.
Well, they are true love, you understand.
Yes. But yeah, the rest of us, we get together when we can and have a few drinks and.
So yes, I'll let you make sure that those are happening. Falstaff, let's see if we can find this thing to blow it up, and then we can make way to Jacques Station.
Sounds good.
And you can, you said you wished to do something, Falstaff. What did you wish?
I need to run a quick diagnostic on you.
All right.
So I attempt to set up like we attempted to do before, Rich and Tudor, the Tudor Station, same way I did it on myself.
Okay. You will be able to do that. That's since you already know what to look for now.
Mm-hmm.
As you are setting up, however, I will say that Hamlet will perceive Yorick appearing, and will sort of be following him. Please do not banish me, my lord. I am sorry if I overstepped. That I can assist you. I know how it is that Richard is thinking. I came to you by way of Horatio. After your encounter on the station, I can give you access to the minds into which Richard taps, should you desire it. You can learn all of his plans.
Ben, I'm very sure at this point that syphilis is a real thing. I'm quite sure that it's not your force, but syphilis itself is a real thing.
I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything. Like you can hear him like just pinch the bridge of his nose and just be like,
well, Ben, there are more things in this world than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
Carousing, for instance.
And Vader does like injecting people with things.
Frequently.
I feel very attacked right now. What did I ever do to any of you guys?
No, Ben, it's fine. I'm merely going to inform you, and he's going to turn in the middle of saying that, like he was walking down the hall with Falstaff and like the rest of them was like talking, and he's mainly going to turn around and say, the reason I'm very, very sure that it's a real thing is because more than likely I've been mildly affected by it at the moment, and I'm trying very hard to ignore it.
Infected? Wait, this isn't some disease. Are you a Sith?
Not to my knowledge, but considering that Horatio got captured and was tortured by both Richard and Vader, and then apparently I've got a voice in my head telling me that it can tap into my rage and make me do things and read minds of Richard III, I'm going to go with that syphilis itself is a real thing.
Well, I would hope it was fun of you to catch it.
I mean, there's a reason I went hiring off half the galaxy to chase after Horatio and possibly get myself shot.
This is so much information. Are you sure that syphilis? I mean, this is not what I know, though.
But do you know everything, Ben?
Of course I do.
How do you know everything?
Because I'm a Jedi.
But do you know everything about the Sith?
Jedi always assume they know better. They always assume they know everything. You sure you want to give up this chance for real, true knowledge of how things work?
And now, Falstaff,
Yes.
I don't think we like me when I'm angry.
Usually not.
Might want to do something about this relatively quickly.
All right. I start to run it.
These fools, they don't understand.
Understanding is not required. Merely obedience.
I'd like to keep them under your thumb, do you, my lord? That's the right place for them, isn't it?
And
So-
he's going to just turn around and assume that Mercutio is standing nearby, and assuming that Mercutio probably has a drink of some sort near him,
I think, that's always a given.
reach out and grab it and just start drinking.
So, as the, so, as you're going to, this thing is trying to fight to stay in you, as the, as you're attempting to delete it. So,
Are you attempting to delete it, or are you attempting to do what you did to yours and trap it on a different server? Just purely informational.
I am probably trying to remove it from you at this point because I have a theory I want to check out.
okay.
So I basically copying it, moving it, instead of deleting it, I'm going to be moving it off of yours and onto something secure of mine.
So, prior to this taking place, it's going to try Hamlet to make you angry, and get you to lean into possibly using the Force. And so, as by way of resisting this, I'm just gonna call this a difficulty of 3.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with a little something makes sense in this situation. Going one just cause, noble,
Okay,
command of myself,
gotcha.
etiquette because it would be very wrong of me to start losing it at my crew, tactics to control myself, probably not negotiation, but I'm a prince and therefore I do not get angry or lose control. I have connections to these people and I'm using that to ground myself. And because I used it and bought it this session, I have my crew and that is who I'm focused on. And this thing in my head is not my crew.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's 8.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that makes the most sense out of what I got.
And Falstaff can provide if you want, you can give a. Do you want to give a die to aid?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, you can do that.
Because if the information I think that might be on there is there, I think it's going to be very important for me to get it off the captain and get it in a secure place that I can investigate it.
All right, so you'll have 9 dice to roll on this. Okay.
5.
You managed to take control of your emotions in a very strangely Jedi-like move for Hamlet.
I'm sure the alcohol that he's swigging from
alcohol probably
Mercutio
helps.
was helping.
The alcohol also helps. And you do it. You do it long enough for that to get removed from you. And Falstaff, you now have it on a separate
Okay, good.
chip container, what have you.
It's on a thumb drive he picked up out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Well then, excuse me, I apologize for that.
How do you feel, Captain?
Voice is gone.
There's nobody yelling at me to try and get me angry and start, using the Force to damage Mr. Kenobi. why I'm almost positive that syphilis is now a real thing.
I see. Well, let me investigate this. I want to do some checking here to see if there's any similarities between yours, mine, any of the coding I found on King Henry VIII's replicator. I want to see if there's any kind of similarities or connection.
Let me check the map for a handy dandy second, because I have an idea.
And I also found what looked like a profile for another body copy other than Henry VIII on there that I took from there as well. I want to also try to figure out, if I can, who it is a replication of. And again, to see if there's any similarity in the programming of all of this stuff. See if there's any kind of pattern.
Hamlet's going to look for an asteroid, something out here, and try and hide on the dark side of it.
Excellent. Sure. You've got... there are not as many asteroids out here, hunks of rock. It's a little clearer, but yeah, you can find a hunk of rock and just hide behind it if you so desire.
Yeah, and put everything in stasis and say, well, I don't know about the rest of you all, but I need, Mercutio, do you still have the good bottle hidden behind the back rack? Going to assume that that's a no. Kate, do you have the good bottle?
I have a case from Eleanor's.
Take one of those. Unless Mercutio is hiding one for me.
Absolutely not.
Well, of course not. See you in about 4 hours.
Enjoy.
Kate's in charge.
It's running target practice now.
Okay. It seems that you have a little time here, as Hamlet is going to be taking some downtime. What is everybody doing? I know what Falstaff is doing. He's trying to figure these things out with you'll be able to do this in time. Mm-hmm. Over the next few hours. What is everyone else doing?
Kate is actually rewiring the locks to the armory to recognize a combination of her handprint and Henry's left hand.
Cool.
So you have to do this.
So let me ask briefly, which locks are we talking about?
The locks to get, she's locking the armory door so that the only way to access it is
nice.
with Henry's hand and then a crewman's hand over it.
Let's Okay, great. Yes, no, that's wonderful. Okay, so you're working on that. What is Mercutio doing right now?
Mercutio is probably playing Candy Crush on his phone.
Excellent. That's good to know. How is he doing? Is he doing all right?
I don't know. I've never actually played Candy Crush. I guess he's crushing a lot of candy.
I expect he's probably fairly decent at it. And then also, what is Obi-Wan doing during this time?
Obi-Wan just goes to like the storage or wherever there's some like empty like crates or something, and he just takes out his lightsaber and he's just like, that's not the way it works. Just getting out all his frustration.
Poor Obi-Wan. What is Hamlet going to be doing for these next few hours?
Hamlet's gonna spend an hour just like decompressing from the voices in his head, and then he's gonna try and write down everything that the voice in his head was saying to him.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think that this is also a good point at which there can be. Let me ask everyone. Do you want to do refreshment scenes this evening, or do you want to wait and do it like near the beginning of next session, since we are getting closer to the 11th hour, as it were?
If we want to wait, I mean, like, I'm down for waiting till next week.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that.
Sure. Okay, we can hang on and do that until next week. Second question also involves: were you going to try to still take out the relay, or you're just going to hang out for a bit first and do that?
Well,
later?
I think he wants to take out the relay.
Okay.
Because as much as Hamlet's creeped out by what's going on Tudor Station, the fact that Iago is giving that information to Claudius is more bothersome. And if he can, like, break the relay here, then it just looks like that there's a problem, that, you know, their relay system broke, not that they got tracked. Yeah. Is that
totally? Yeah.
And if we let Kate blow up an entire asteroid, then it's just the asteroid died.
That's very cool.
I mean, asteroids collide with asteroids all the time.
Sorry.
I was going to say asteroids collide with asteroids all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Is that a thing you want to take care of before you wait the 4 hours, or do you want to hang out and wait the 4 hours first?
No, he'd probably do that first.
You do that first? Okay.
It's a security measure. He would need to have that done.
All right. So, one thing you're able to detect as you get up to where it is, you find it. It's not too difficult. It's sort of there. It's inside an asteroid, and you figure out it's got a tight beam going, and you figure out that the next point on the relay is somewhere in the vicinity of Tempest Land. So that's kind of where it's headed. And then you set it up so that you can blow up the thing, and it looks like an asteroid collided into it, so that's not too big a deal.
Hamlet just kind of pulls around and says, "All right, Kate, have fun."
Yeah, Kate, you figure out exactly how to turn the ship and shoot an asteroid so that it splits off, and the side that splits off hits the relay, and then they blow up. So you're already pretty good at that.
Yeah, she's actually playing asteroid.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine what might what about this map may cause anyone to think of that. But in any case,
I mean, she's a ship's gunner, and that's how she became a ship's gunner.
Exactly.
Was developing a skill at playing asteroid.
Precisely. This is how maps of all asteroid fields look as Shakespeare wrote them. But in any case, so time passes a bit, and Falstaff, as you are figuring this out, a couple of things come to light. First off, it comes to light that it looks like the Sith virus is not the same. It does not share any similarities with what's going on at Tudor Station.
Okay, so the SIV virus is nothing like what was going on with Iago.
That is correct. And actually, perhaps, although looking at patterns, it might make sense now that with Richard III becoming a Sith and all that, following the way of the Sith, that might explain to a certain extent why Iago might not have wanted to be around so much anymore. With that, so he flipped to Claudius.
Yep.
So, second thing then that you notice as you're trying to analyze this second print, this pattern, to create another individual. So that you can tell everyone. You figure out who it is, and you figure out perhaps why it is that that Henry could not see it, and why they programmed him so that he was not able to find that file.
Interesting.
I have For those of you watching at home, I have just sent Sir John the information, so that if he desires, he may share it with the others.
All right. Is there any similarity between this file and the code I took off of myself and Hamlet that was causing the issues?
No, that's sort of the.
They are totally separate.
Yeah, the Sith type code stuff. Yeah, the Sith code that you took off of yourself and Hamlet are
It's totally unrelated. Okay,
Yes.
That's what I wanted. I wanted to see if there's any connection. Okay, once I find this, I am going to go meet with Hamlet privately.
All right. So I presume, Hamlet, you're in your quarters. You've sort of been thinking. Is that correct? I cannot hear.
Sorry, I'm a professional. Yes, indeed, that is where Hamlet is located,
Okay.
in his quarters.
Captain, I have some information about the information I downloaded off the replicator.
Indeed. And?
I was correct. The hidden file was the code needed to replicate a totally separate robot living entity.
Indeed, and?
It was not another version of Henry VIII. It was someone else completely different.
Whom?
Old Bess herself.
Oh,
Elizabeth the First.
And that is where we are going to pause for the week. As this revelation comes out, and we shall now end our session, as there are many more questions and many more answers hopefully coming up soon. And I thank you all very much for playing. It has been glorious this evening. I shall. I am very much looking forward to seeing where things go next. That's going to be it for right now. We're going to go around and ask folks what you thought of the game, and where folks can find you. Let's go back to our main view to do this, so that I can actually see everyone in order. There we go. I am going to start with Sam.
Oh, hi. What are we supposed to say? You would think I would know this by now.
Yeah, who are you? Where can folks find you? And what did you think of the session? Did you have any particular favorite moments or anything like that?
Okay, yeah. I'm Sam. You can find me as Smaller Sam on Twitter, and I run Pulp Cthulhu on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Scarticus Academy. Many secrets are had there as well. Oh gosh, this game, Prax, I love you and I hate you at the same time, but I love you so much for it. I love that you continued this. I absolutely love it. That's all I have to say.
Then let us proceed on to Kat.
Hi, I'm Kat. I love this. This is, like I said last week, this slips right into so many loves of mine, so many nerdy little niches that I've had for most of my life. And it's a blast. And getting to bounce off of these people and be Shakespeare nerds and language nerds and history nerds, and Doc, he gave us the tools and the opportunity to play that, and it's great. I love it.
Thanks.
And I'm at Cleric of Cord, and let's see, tomorrow I'll be at Encounter We'll Play playing Due Diligence, and I'll be back here next Wednesday. Lots of stuff coming down the road, but for right now, just check the on my page for where I'm at. I'm playing games Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Excellent. Please go check that out. And now let us move on to Anino.
Hey, I'm Anino. You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at Anino Gaming. I just tossed that into the chat. I gotta say, the cloning thing was a little creepy.
Understandably.
Understandably so. I thought it was a kind of an interesting moment that Kenobi had to kill his clone. Was not expecting that to come out in this story, but we've taken quite a few swerves, so I think that just makes it interesting. Yeah, so that's it.
Awesome. And now let us move on to Hawkeye.
All right, I am Kentucky Hawkeye, KY Hawkeye on Twitter, Twitch, and on Instagram. What I enjoyed was coming up with a great theory of what was going on and have it blown away into something even more devious than what I thought was going on. But that's all the fun of it. I love a good mystery, and making it even more mysterious, it just heightens my interest even more. So Mondays, I can be found every other Monday. We were on this week, and we'll be on in 2 weeks. I'm on Theater Nerd 221 on Twitch, where we're doing a guild of our own, a bunch of adventurers in Ravnica that are outside of any of the guilds, and making our way through on things there. On Tuesday nights is on my channel. I have my Lego gameplay. Right now we're still doing the Lego DC supervillains. We just auctioned off a blank character slot, and we will play with that next week, and we'll raffle another character slot off next week as well. On Wednesdays, I'm still going with my weekly Skyrim serial. My character Eric Rosine, the man who's more Nord than the Nords, is currently in the middle of the Civil War and is also having a confrontation with the Dark Brotherhood. So we'll be wrapping that story up soon. We'll be starting our new character here fairly shortly. My Thursday show is currently on hiatus, Critical Holds, for all those people who can't get enough of Critical Role. I've created all of the main player characters from Campaign 1 and Campaign 2, and they're in their own WWE 2K19 universe where they compete at the Victory Pit and at the Crucible. And I've created a number of NPCs as well. If you want to see how they look, you can go to my Instagram account, KY Hawkeye, and you can see illustrations of all the wrestlers I've created for that. Otherwise, Cancer Cleric during the day, and during the night, I'm a gamer and RPG fanboy.
Excellent. And thank you so much for going and playing this. Falstaff had a lot to do today, and so it was very cool.
I'm grateful to help get me awake.
Fair enough. And finally, we go to, once again, Lord Hamlet, D.
Hey y'all, you know me. I'm at Praxagora Thesmiaphora. You see me hang out in the Twitch chat, and at Deirdre Donlan on Twitter. And this week is fun because all the new seasons are starting. And Friday, I get to over on Wandering DM. We have a brand new game of Castle Falkenstein, and the Contessa Lucretia Sofia Fioravanti will be making her appearance in Barcelona, and she is so much fun. But Saturday, you can come back to Wandering DM and see me drive some fan folk mad in the second season of Go West Pop Cthulhu. It's the season premiere. Entirely sure that everything will be entirely fine in Four Corners. Sundays over on Soul Bear RPG for some Shattered Eye. You come for the Death and Destruction, and you stay for the Shattered Fam's wonderful drama. And then Tuesday, you're back on Wandering DM for some wonderful dark matter, D&D and spaces all of my life. But again, check my Twitter. I always post where I'm going live. One thing I will want to say is this weekend, if you have some time, and if you're not watching any of my other friends do fabulous things all over the internet, come hang out on the Uncaged group that I'm a member of. I actually wrote one of the adventures in the first volume of the Uncaged anthology. We are running a 24-hour charity stream for Reigns. If I was a professional, I would remember exactly what channel it's on, but it's okay because the D&D Twitch channel is hosting it, so you can always find it there. I'll also be posting it on my Twitter, but hey, come hang out, see some great people run some great games, and support great charity.
Awesome. Excellent. Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, this session was great. I had a really good time. I think we got a little quieter toward the end, but then it's like I need to remember to just sort of shut up every now and then and just sort of let people do things. And so I want to make sure I'm leaving room for that. No, I am liking this. I'm liking sort of the direction and the possibilities, and I am very interested to see what everyone's going to do next. But for the nonce, let me. I shall give my spiel once more. Once again, I am Jim Ryan, or Other Doc, the Doc. And you can find me at Other Doc on Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and the most recent short story that I have released, as always. So let's see, what have we got coming up? Well, let's see. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be over on Scraticus, on the Scraticus channel. Playing tomorrow night. I think it's at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be playing a D&D Weird Western. So of course I could not resist that. I believe that's one of the viewer games, and so I am excited to get in on it. I believe that it's called Riders on the Storm. So I'm gonna just dive right in there. On Friday afternoons and Saturday and Sunday mornings, I play video games. This Saturday, we are going to take another stab at trying to do the Cold Ruins of Last Life, dungeon world where we're all undead, run by the GM Matthias, and hopefully we'll be able to do it. We've been trying for a while, but I have a good feeling about this weekend, so hopefully Saturday afternoon we'll be able to pull that off. On Sunday, early evening, continuing the series of one-shots of Deadlands Noir, Tales of the Dust Bowl. Session this Sunday, the scenario this Sunday will be Knights of the Dust Bowl. All the characters are hobos. And so I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that goes, as again, we're getting into games that I've run at cons before, but not over stream, so I'm very interested in that. As usual, Tuesday, I'm going to be over on Off the Table, playing Urban Shadows. It could possibly be the finale for it, as we've got pretty much all our ducks in a row for that. My character has a terrible shopping list he has to complete, and so I'm just hoping to see what happens when that comes to fruition. That is at twitch.tv/off_the-table. And then, of course, 1 week from today, Wednesday, more RvR. As always, sign-ups are still open right now for... I might be able to squeeze one or two more people into Deadlands Noir if folks want to, and then also a Cypher System game we're running at the end of the month. You can click on the sign-up link to check that out, or go and check that out and my various other medias, audio, and what have you at jimyesthatjim.com. As always, beginners are welcome. When we go to the end card, I am going to send a raid. I'm going to send a raid over to Scraticus because they have just recently... Again, we've got the in-between seasons. Seasons are starting now, new seasons of things. And so they're on Return to Eden, looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and go over there, say hello to all of those folks, see how they're doing. In the meantime, however, thank you so much for watching, folks. Take care, and I will see you next week. Farewell.